Every macro image is a product of light and shadows and how they are combined to create or showcase color, texture, or any other element in frame or even out of the frame like mood. Proper application of the desired amount of light does so much for the entire image, like the subject, the background, the focusing as well. Thus, the presence or absence of light, the quality of light, and the technique used is 20% of what makes a good macro image. This video is a continuation of the first part of a three-part series on how to take good macro images every single time. And this first part is all about what makes a good macro image. So we've dealt with what makes a good macro image subject, and we said that it's 25%. So this is light, and light is 20% of what makes a good macro image. If you are new to the channel, my name is David Joseph at ABCD David. I'm a professional macro wildlife photographer based in Nigeria, and I've been doing macro wildlife photography exclusively for over 5 years now. Thus the experience and the knowledge that I'm passing here. So now we have subjects 25%, lights 20%. That is 45% of what makes a good macro image. But let's talk more about light. In macro wildlife photography, we get light from three sources, and one of them is natural light. Next is artificial light, and the third one is a combination of both natural and artificial light. These three sources all have their pros and cons, and if you are looking for a video that compares natural light with artificial light, I have a video of that and it's linked up here, or you can check the channel or just the description. So today we are going to just touch on these. We are not like going in depth into them. To reveal detail, tell a story, or convey a certain emotion, different lighting techniques are used. Most popular is the straight on, just light on the face of the subject. Backlighting, side lighting, and several other techniques are employed as well by macro wildlife photographers and even just macro photographers, say ones that deal with flowers. Different macro wildlife photographers have different methods of lighting their subject and different means of holding their light, but most of them prefer just having the light on the camera, like using a flashlight and placing it on the camera. And of course, they are going to diffuse it because diffusion is a very important part of lighting in macro wildlife photography. And I'm going to get to that later. So this method is very easy because it's a pure one-man setup. You don't need any other person to assist you in order to light up the subject. It's very easy to move about with it, and it's also very quick. This is why it's preferred by so many macro wildlife photographers compared to other techniques that would need someone to hold the light for you, or maybe for you to mount the light. With the light source mounted on your camera in form of the flash, it's also very easy to follow, track, and even squeeze into tiny spaces with your light. And a lot of times it's not possible if you are using a big setup that is not going to be attached to your camera. While I've discussed this in detail in another video, I'd still like to point out that one advantage of using artificial lights for macro wildlife photography is that you can shoot at night or in dark environments, and you can also control the light as well as close up your aperture to get more of the subject in focus. This is one core benefit and why many people again use artificial light and prefer it for macro wildlife photography. But if you must use artificial light for macro wildlife photography, it's very important to make it not look like artificial light. And how do you do this? You do this by softening and spreading the light, and this way it's going to be flattering on your subject. It's going to not just hit the subject, but it's going to kind of cover it in a way that natural light would do that. And to achieve this look, you have to use what is called a diffuser. So this is what a typical flash diffuser looks like. It's mounted on the camera, and while you're shooting, the light comes from the flash from here, and this diffuses and spreads the light, making it appear very natural. There are so many diffuser brands out there, and of course you could make your own. There are so many videos out there that help you make your own diffuser. For me, I've been using the Signostech diffuser right from when I started macro photography, and 99% of my photos are taken with artificial light. But guess what? They don't look like it. And all those photos have been made possible with a diffuser, specifically the Signostech diffuser. So it's very essential if you want to nail lighting in macro wildlife photography. And there's a 10% discount of the Signustech diffuser if you purchase it through the link in the YouTube video description. In summary, I'd like to say that lighting in macro photography is not like in other genres of photography. It seems complicated, but once you get the hang of it, it's very simple and straightforward every single time. I like how consistent and how easy it is. It feels like you're using natural light all the time, like you're carrying natural light with you, but it's not natural light. That is one thing I love about lighting in macro wildlife photography, and the fact that it's very portable. You don't have to always carry light stands or several lights with you. And of course, I think it's cheap, because if you have to professionally light up subjects in other genres of photography, you need different kinds of light, different kinds of color, temperature, light, and all of that. But in macro wildlife photography, it's just straight to the point. It's just very simple. You only need one flashlight and a diffuser, and you are set for live in macro wildlife photography. So if you understand this and just know how to put together your whole lighting setup in macro wildlife photography, you have already nailed 20% of what makes a good macro image. So what do you need if I have to go over it and recommend something to you? You just need a flash. I use the Godox V3500. I messed that up. I use the Godox V3500 and I still messed it up again. I use the Godox V3500 flash, and there's a review video of it in the channel, so you can check it out. And I use the Signustech diffuser. These are the only things I need to get a free 20% of what makes a good macro image. And if you can get these things or similar, you've nailed 20% of what makes a good macro image. Or at least if you can control the flash power, yeah, because that is also very important. But I know you can, because you are good at what you do. Yeah, I just know that. So that's it for this particular video, but it's not the end of the first part, because this is just 45% and there's 55% left. So if you are enjoying this and if you want to know how to take good macro images every single time, do consider subscribing to the channel. And if you want to support the channel, there are more ways, and one of them is donating a coffee via the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. Again, I'm David Joseph at ABCD David. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.